This year's MVP race has been a fun and exciting one. Steph Curry hit the ground running and it seemed like he would run away with the award, but then entered an extended slump. Kevin Durant, who was following Steph in the rankings, has since missed a large chunk of time with injury. That paved the way for three regulars in the MVP conversation to rise to the top of the rankings. I'm talking of course about Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Hello guys, it's Bill and let's start with the two-time MVP, Giannis. This season the Bucks haven't been as dominant as the last few seasons, mainly because of injuries and COVID, but this can't be held against Giannis' case for the MVP award. He's averaging 29.4 points, 11.3 rebounds and 6 assists while shooting 54.7% from the field. All of that in just 32.7 minutes per game. Offensively, the Greek freak has been more comfortable picking his spots, his shooting especially from the mid-range has improved and he seems to be a better passer. Defensively, he remains one of the best in the league, a guy who can guard all 5 positions, while holding opponents to a stingy 50.4% shooting at the rim. In terms of advanced stats, Giannis has a true shooting percentage of 60.3, a PER of 32.3, an all-time great number, the best ever behind the guy later on in the video, and finally the Bucks are a dominant team with him on the floor. They have a plus 8.6 net rating, and they are pretty bad. They dropped to a minus 3.9 net rating when he's out of the game. Somehow we have become numb to his greatness. What he's doing is not normal, at all. Despite the slow start in the season, mainly due to COVID, he missed 9 games in November, Joel Embiid has been nothing less than dominant. In his last 36 games, Jojo is averaging, are you ready? 31.3 points, 11.5 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 1.5 blocks and 1.1 steals on 50-35-82 shooting splits. If that is not dominant, I don't know what is. Embiid also is the NBA's leading clutch time scorer this season, and he's making 50% of his shots in those situations. He's constantly taking over with his offense and his defense, just like Giannis. The thing with Embiid is that he is improving his game with each season in contrast to his former star teammate. He finds ways to excel. This season his mid-range game has been a thing of beauty. It's crazy to see a guy that big float so effortlessly into a mid-range jumper while also banging with the best of them down low. Now with James Harden on the team, the Sixers have a chance to really compete in the East, and most importantly, they won't waste another year of Joel's prime. If he continues to be that dominant with Harden's help, I think the Sixers can realistically aim for the top 2 seeds in the East, and Embiid will most likely win MVP. The main knock against Embiid and Giannis, for all that matters, is that they have missed a good chunk of games. Giannis has missed 11 games and Joel 12. Before we move on to the last guy on the list, we have to mention DeMar DeRozan. Well, scratch that. DeRozan is not an honorable mention, he's a full entry because he has been the real deal for the Bulls this season. It isn't fair to talk about the MVP race and not mention the best player on the number 1 seed in the East. His numbers are unreal. He's averaging 28.1 points, 5.2 rebounds and 5.1 assists while making 51.7% of his shots and posting a 60.1 true shooting percentage. The Bulls are 11 points per 100 possessions better with DeRozan on the floor, extremely valuable in a season full of injuries and COVID protocols. He's second in clutch points behind Joel Embiid, and he's making better than 54% of his shots in those situations. In contrast to Giannis and Embiid, DeMar has only missed 5 games so far, and that helps his case a lot. Looking back, it seems crazy that some so-called analysts called DeMar's move to Chicago one of the worst of the summer. Thankfully, the leader of the Bulls is always there to remind everybody that he is one of the best players in the league, and rightfully so in the MVP conversation. Did you expect DeMar to have such a good season? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Last but definitely not least, we have the reigning MVP, Nikola Jokic. If I told you that Jokic will come back better after his MVP campaign, you wouldn't have believed me. Joke's on you by the Joker. Michael Porter Jr. barely played this season and he's done for the year with a back injury. Jamal Murray still hasn't returned from his ACL injury last season. That leaves Jokic, Aaron Gordon and Will Barton to make most of the heavy lifting. But somehow the Nuggets are a top 6 team in the West, only a few games behind the Utah Jazz, who are the 4th seed. Most of that is due to Nikola's stellar play. 26 points, 13.8 rebounds and 7.9 assists per night, while also being extremely efficient. 32.6 PER, the best ever if remains as it is, and on top of that, the Joker is extremely clutch. His on-off metrics really show how valuable Jokic is for the Nuggets. Denver goes from being outscored by 10.4 points per 100 possessions with Jokic on the bench to outscoring its opponent by 10.2 points per 100 possessions with him on the court. For context, that's basically the difference between the Suns, who have the best net rating in the league, and the Pistons, who have the worst net rating in the league. Just one player takes a team that otherwise would have been mediocre, to say the least, and he makes them one of the best in the league. It's hard to argue that Nikola Jokic shouldn't win MVP again this season. He has missed only 6 games, and he is the sole reason his team is as good as it is. If that's not the most valuable, I don't know what is. Which of these 4 do you think has the best case for the MVP award? I would like Giannis to win it, because I'm Greek and Giannis is my guy, but I think it's between Joel and Nikola. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, and do me a favor, click that subscribe button for more NBA content. I was Bill, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.